In the distant future, on a barren planet covered in dust, a powerful alien empire discovered a long-forgotten cryo facility. The facility, buried under layers of rock, held a secret that could change everything. Inside, the remains of humanity lay frozen in time. The aliens, curious about these ancient beings, decided to wake them up. As the aliens activated the cryo chambers, bright lights flashed, and hissing sounds filled the air. One by one, the human soldiers began to awaken from their deep sleep. Their bodies were strong and muscular, and their faces showed the scars of past battles. When they opened their eyes, confusion washed over them. They had no idea where they were or why they had been awakened. "Where are we?" one soldier asked, his voice deep and commanding. The aliens stood nearby, watching with a mix of excitement and fear. They had expected these humans to be weak and outdated, but they quickly realized they had made a grave mistake. The humans had been trained for war and were not to be underestimated. As the soldiers gathered their bearings, they noticed the strange, advanced technology around them. Screens flashed with images of stars and planets. It was clear they were in a high-tech facility, but there was no time to waste. The soldiers began to share what they remembered from before their long sleep. One soldier named Captain James stepped forward. He had been a leader in his time, and he quickly took charge. "Listen up! We need to figure out what's happening," he said. "We have to find a way to get back to Earth. I won't let them destroy our home." The other soldiers nodded, their expressions serious. They had fought many battles before, and this felt like just another fight. They quickly began to strategize, looking for any signs of life outside the facility. As they moved through the hallways, they came across a large window. The view took their breath away. Below them lay the alien capital, bustling with strange flying ships and towering buildings that reached toward the sky. The aliens were preparing for war, and Earth was their next target. "Look!" shouted another soldier, pointing at a massive holographic map displayed on the wall. The map showed their home planet, Earth, along with other planets already taken over by the alien empire. It was clear that time was running out. "These aliens think they can conquer us easily," Captain James said, clenching his fists. "They have no idea who they are dealing with. We have to strike first." The soldiers quickly began to plan their attack. They were skilled fighters, trained for years to protect their world. They remembered their training and the values they held dear: loyalty, bravery, and the will to fight for what was right. As they prepared for battle, the aliens outside noticed something unusual. They had never seen humans like this before, strong, determined, and ready to fight. They whispered among themselves, wondering if they had made a terrible mistake by waking the humans. The humans gathered their weapons, which were stored in the facility. They looked at each other, their eyes filled with purpose. "We are humanity's last hope," Captain James declared. "We will not let our people down." With a final check of their gear, the humans made their way to the exit. They could feel the adrenaline pumping through their veins. The moment had come to show the aliens what humanity was truly capable of. As the doors opened, they stepped into the bright light of day, ready to face their enemies. The soldiers felt a surge of strength. They were not just warriors, they were the future of humanity, and they were determined to fight back. In that moment, they became awakened warriors, ready to reclaim their home and protect their world from those who wished to destroy it. Their hearts beat as one, filled with courage and the will to fight. The aliens may have underestimated them, but the humans were about to show the galaxy that they were a force to be reckoned with. The sun rose over the alien capital, casting long shadows across the bustling streets below. The humans, now fully awake and ready, stood at the edge of the facility, looking down at their enemy. Captain James felt a rush of determination as he surveyed the scene. This was their chance to strike back. "All right, team," he called out, gathering the soldiers around him. "We're going to hit them hard and fast. They think they can invade Earth without a fight. Let's show them how wrong they are." The soldiers nodded in agreement, their faces serious and focused. They quickly moved into formation, each warrior knowing their role. They had trained for this moment for years, and now it was finally happening. With stealth, they made their way toward the heart of the alien city. The streets were alive with alien creatures, all busy with their daily tasks. Many were unaware that humans had returned. The humans stayed hidden in the shadows, watching and waiting for the perfect moment to attack. "Look at that!" whispered a soldier named Lisa, pointing at a large alien structure that loomed ahead. "That's their command center. If we can take that down, we can disrupt their whole operation. Captain James agreed. We'll strike there first. Once we disable their command center, we can take control of the city. The soldiers moved closer, their hearts pounding in anticipation. They reached the outskirts of the command center where guards stood watch. The humans knew they had to act quickly to avoid detection. On my signal, Captain James said, eyeing the guards carefully. We charge in and take them by surprise. Ready, set, go! With a roar, the humans charged forward. The guards were taken off guard. Before they could react, the soldiers overwhelmed them with speed and precision. The sounds of combat filled the air as fists met alien armor and weapons clashed. Captain James fought fiercely, taking down 2 guards with swift kicks. Lisa worked alongside him, her moves sharp and calculated. Together they pushed deeper into the command center, determined to reach the control room. As they fought their way through the building, the soldiers quickly realized how outmatched the aliens were. The aliens were strong, but the humans were faster and smarter. Each time an alien tried to counterattack, the humans found a way to dodge and strike back. Finally, they reached the control room. It was filled with blinking lights and screens showing images from around the galaxy. Captain James could see the maps of Earth and the alien empire, and it ignited his anger. "This is it!" he shouted. "Let's end this now!" The humans stormed into the room, catching the alien officers by surprise. The officers scrambled to defend themselves, but the humans were relentless. One by one, they took down the officers, showing no mercy. Amidst the chaos, a soldier named Marcus spotted a large control panel. "We need to shut down their communications!" he yelled, rushing toward it. As he worked to disable the controls, alarms began to blare throughout the building. The sound was deafening, but Marcus kept his focus. "Almost there!" he shouted, his fingers flying over the buttons. Just then, reinforcements began to arrive. More alien guards rushed into the room, but the humans were ready. They fought bravely, their training kicking in as they held their ground. Finally, with one last press of a button, Marcus disabled the control panel. The alarm stopped, and the screens went dark. "We did it!" he shouted, pumping his fist in the air. With their command center in disarray, the aliens were confused and afraid. The humans had made their point. They were back, and they were not going to let anyone take their home. As they retreated from the command center, the soldiers felt a surge of pride. They had struck first and achieved a crucial victory. The aliens had learned that humanity was not to be taken lightly. Back at their base, Captain James gathered his team once more. "This is just the beginning," he said, his eyes shining with determination. "We have shown them our strength today. Now let's prepare for the next strike. Earth will be safe again, and we will not rest until every last threat is eliminated." The soldiers cheered, their spirits high. They were ready for whatever came next. They had awakened as warriors, and they would fight to the end to protect their home. After their bold strike on the alien command center, the human soldiers felt a rush of victory. Captain James and his team had shown the aliens that humanity was back and ready to fight. But as they regrouped in their hidden base, they knew the battle was far from over. They needed more allies to stand a chance against the alien empire. "Great job, everyone," Captain James said, looking around at his team. "But we cannot win this war alone. We need allies. We need to find anyone who opposes the alien empire." As they discussed their next steps, a soldier named Lisa spoke up. "What about the rebel factions? I've heard whispers of aliens who hate the empire and want to fight back. Maybe we can reach out to them." Captain James nodded thoughtfully. "That's a good idea. If we can convince them to join us, we could increase our chances of success. But first, we need to find them." The team quickly gathered information from the base's computers. After some research, they found that a group of rebels was hiding in the outskirts of the capital. They had been fighting against the Empire for years and would be eager to join forces with the humans. "Let's move out," James commanded. "We have to find these rebels and convince them to help us." The soldiers set out under the cover of night. They navigated the dark alleys and back streets of the alien city, avoiding patrols along the way. Finally, they arrived at a rundown building marked by graffiti that showed signs of rebellion. With hearts racing, the humans knocked on the door. After a moment, it creaked open, revealing a tall alien with bright green skin and fierce eyes. He looked at them with suspicion. "Who are you?" he demanded. "Please, we're not your enemies," Captain James replied, stepping forward. "We are humans. We've awakened from cryo sleep to fight against the alien empire. We want to join forces with you." The alien studied them for a moment, his expression unreadable. Finally, he spoke. "You want to ally with us? You humans have a reputation for being fierce warriors. But what do you bring to our fight?" James took a deep breath, knowing this was their chance. "We just defeated the command center and disrupted their operations. Together, we can strike harder and faster. We can bring hope to those who suffer under the Empire's rule. We need each other." The alien looked uncertain but intrigued. "I am Kale, leader of the rebel faction. We have fought for years, but our numbers are small. If what you say is true, we might have a chance." As Kyle listened, the other rebels joined them, curious about the humans. The humans shared stories of their fight and showed the rebels their tactics and training. The energy in the room shifted, and soon the rebels were eager to learn more. "We've faced many losses," Kale admitted. "The Empire is strong, but we've also seen hope in small victories. If we can unite our forces, we may stand a chance." With the initial tension lifted, the humans and rebels started to form a plan. They trained together, learning from one another. The humans shared their combat skills, while the rebels taught them about the alien technology they could use to their advantage. Days turned into nights as they prepared for the next battle. Captain James felt a deep bond forming with Kale and his rebels. They shared laughter, stories, and dreams of a future free from oppression. Finally, the day came when they were ready for their first joint attack. Captain James gathered everyone around. "This is it! We will strike at dawn, hitting a supply depot that is vital to the Empire. Together, we will show them our strength and unity." The soldiers and rebels cheered, filled with excitement and determination. As the sun rose, they moved silently through the city, a united front against their common enemy. When they reached the supply depot, they positioned themselves carefully. Captain James took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "On my signal, we attack!" The moment came, and the humans and rebels charged forward together. The surprise attack caught the alien guards off guard. The air filled with shouts and the sounds of battle. Together, they fought side by side, using their combined skills to overwhelm the enemy. As they fought, Captain James felt a surge of hope. They had become more than just allies. They were a force to be reckoned with. The Empire was about to learn that humanity had awakened, and they were not alone in this fight. The dawn of a new alliance had begun. The air was thick with tension as Captain James and his team stood in the makeshift war room, maps and holograms of the alien city spread out before them. They had grown stronger since forming their alliance with the rebel faction. Now they were ready for their biggest challenge yet, a final assault on the heart of the alien empire. "We've gathered enough information to know where their command ships are located," James said, his voice steady. "If we can take them down, we can disrupt their control over the entire city." Kale, the leader of the rebels, nodded. "Our combined forces will strike at dawn. This is our chance to end the Empire's rule once and for all." As the sun dipped below the horizon, a sense of unity and purpose filled the room. The humans and rebels had become a family, bound by their common goal. They shared stories, laughter, and the hope of a better future. But now, with the final battle ahead, the mood turned serious. "Everyone ready?" James asked, looking around at the determined faces of his allies. They all nodded. "Let's make this count." At first light, they moved out quietly, a mix of humans and aliens united in their mission. As they approached the command ships, they could see the guards patrolling the area. The stakes were high, but they had trained for this moment. "Remember your positions," James whispered. "We strike fast and hard." They spread out, taking their places. James felt a rush of adrenaline as he looked at his team and the rebels. This was the moment they had all been waiting for. "Now!" James shouted, and they charged forward together. The element of surprise worked in their favor. The guards were unprepared for an attack of this magnitude. Blasts of energy and the sounds of weapons clashing filled the air as the two sides collided. James fought alongside Kale, their movements synchronized as they took down enemy soldiers. "Keep pushing forward!" James yelled, inspiring his team to fight harder. He could see the fear in the eyes of the alien soldiers. They were not prepared for the fury of united forces. The rebels, fueled by years of suffering, fought with a fierce determination. Their anger and pain transformed into power, allowing them to overcome the alien guards. The humans fought bravely, their training giving them an edge. As they fought their way toward the command ships, James spotted a massive vessel looming above them. It was the flagship of the alien fleet. If they could take it down, they would strike a huge blow to the Empire. "Over there," James pointed. "We need to get to that ship." They worked together to create a path through the chaos. Lisa, using her agility, darted ahead to disable the ship's defenses while the others held off the guards. The team fought side by side, each member playing a crucial role in their attack. Finally, they reached the flagship. The entrance was heavily guarded, but their combined strength pushed them forward. They fought with everything they had, determination fueling their every move. Once inside, they quickly made their way to the control room. The interior was filled with blinking lights and alien technology, a maze of screens showing the Empire's operations. James felt a surge of hope as they approached the main control panel. "This is it!" he shouted. "We need to disable this ship." Cale and Marcus worked quickly to figure out the controls. James stood guard, ready to protect his team. Just then, the alarms blared and the room filled with flashing red lights. "They know we're here," Lisa shouted, firing her weapon at incoming guards. "Hurry!" Cale and Marcus pressed buttons, trying to disable the ship. The alien guards rushed in, but James and the rebels fought valiantly, holding them off with fierce determination. They were not going to let the Empire win. With a final push, Kyle shouted, "We did it! The ship is disabled!" James felt a rush of triumph. But just as they thought they had won, the ground shook. The flagship was beginning to explode. "Everyone out!" James yelled, leading the team back through the chaos. They fought their way to safety, adrenaline coursing through their veins. As they escaped the ship, a massive explosion erupted behind them, sending debris flying into the sky. They stumbled out into the open, watching as the flagship was consumed by flames. The shockwaves knocked them to the ground, but they quickly got up, exhilarated and alive. "We did it!" Cale shouted, filled with joy and disbelief. The humans cheered, their spirits soaring. They had struck a decisive blow against the alien empire. They had fought together, as allies and friends. As the dust settled, Captain James looked at his team and the rebels. "This is just the beginning. We will continue to fight for our freedom. Together we will build a better future." United in purpose, they stood tall, knowing that they had changed the course of history. The battle was won, but the war for freedom had only just begun. The sun rose over the city, casting a warm glow on the remnants of the battlefield. Smoke lingered in the air, but the atmosphere was filled with hope and celebration. Captain James and his team stood among the rubble, reflecting on their hard-won victory against the alien empire. The flagship explosion had marked a turning point, and the tide was finally shifting in their favor. As the humans and rebels gathered, Cale stepped forward. "We have done what many thought impossible. We defeated one of the Empire's most powerful ships. But our fight is not over. We must continue to push forward." James nodded, proud of the unity they had forged. "You're right, Cale. This victory shows that we can stand together. Let's regroup and plan our next steps." The two groups began to rebuild their forces. With the command ship destroyed, many other rebels, once afraid to fight, now joined them, inspired by their bravery. News of the humans' victory spread quickly, igniting hope in the hearts of those oppressed by the alien empire. Days turned into weeks as they trained harder than ever. The humans shared their combat techniques, while the rebels taught them about the alien technology that could give them an edge. They developed new strategies, drawing maps of the Empire's strongholds and planning their next moves. One evening, James and Cale gathered with the leaders of the rebel factions to discuss their future. The room buzzed with excitement, ideas flying as they brainstormed their next target. "What if we strike the supply lines?" one rebel suggested. "Cutting off resources will weaken their defenses. Or we could target communication hubs," another added. "If we disrupt their messages, we can create chaos within their ranks." James listened carefully, feeling a sense of purpose in their discussions. "All great ideas, but we need to choose wisely. Our next move must be decisive." As they planned, the human and alien leaders forged bonds of friendship. They shared meals and stories, learning about each other's cultures. Laughter filled the air, a beautiful reminder of the unity they had achieved. The humans discovered that the rebels were not so different from them. They had families, dreams, and the desire for a better future. One day during training, Lisa approached James. "I've been thinking. We should reach out to other planets. There must be other factions that oppose the Empire. If we can unite them, we could form a powerful alliance." James smiled at her enthusiasm. "That's a fantastic idea, Lisa. We could send envoys to nearby worlds, inviting them to join our cause. Together, we can build a coalition strong enough to take down the Empire for good. With a plan in place, they organized a delegation. James, Cale, and a few selected soldiers set out to visit neighboring planets. They traveled through space in a small ship, excited yet anxious about what lay ahead. As they visited different worlds, they shared stories of their fight against the Empire, showcasing their strength and unity. Many planets had suffered under the Empire's oppression, and their tales resonated with the delegates. Slowly, they began to form alliances, pledging their support for the humans and rebels. Weeks passed, and their coalition grew stronger. James returned to their base with a sense of accomplishment. They had allies now, warriors from different worlds standing side by side. Their numbers were increasing, and hope bloomed like a flower in spring. Back at the base, they gathered to celebrate their newfound alliances. The atmosphere was filled with joy as they shared food, music, and laughter. For the first time in years, many felt a sense of belonging and hope for the future. "We are not just fighting for ourselves anymore," Cale said, raising his glass. "We are fighting for everyone who has suffered under the Empire's rule. Together, we will create a new beginning." The crowd erupted in cheers, and James felt a warmth in his heart. This was more than a battle. It was a movement, a fight for freedom that transcended species. They were no longer just humans and aliens, they were allies, friends, and family. As the celebration continued, James stood on a hill overlooking the city. The sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. He felt a sense of peace wash over him. They had come so far from the darkness of cryo sleep, and now they were stepping into a bright future. With a smile on his face, James whispered, "This is just the beginning." The fight for freedom would continue, but they would face it together, united in purpose and hope. They were ready to take on the Empire, armed with courage, friendship, and the promise of a better tomorrow.